Willkommen bei Sicher Englisch. Ich bin Lukas und heute geht es um ein Thema, das viele von euch nervös macht. Das Bewerbungsgespräch auf Englisch. Emma und James sprechen darüber, wie man sich in einem Jobinterview selbstbewusst vorstellt. Achte besonders auf diese Ausdrücke. I describe myself as, I'm passionate about und I thrive in. Viel Spaß beim Zuhören.
Hey James, how's it going?
Pretty good, actually. Bit tired, though. I had a job interview this morning.
Oh, really? How did it go?
I think it went well. I was really nervous beforehand, but once we got talking, I actually started to enjoy it. The interviewers were quite friendly, which helped a lot.
That makes such a difference, doesn't it? When the interviewers are warm and approachable, you can really be yourself. So tell me, how did it start? Did they just jump straight into the questions?
No, not right away. There was a bit of small talk first, which I wasn't really expecting. One of them asked me how my journey in was and whether I'd had any trouble finding the office.
Oh, that's so typical. People underestimate how important that small talk is, though. It's not just being polite, they're already forming an impression of you.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Apparently, some interviewers make up their mind about you in the first 30 seconds.
Right.
So I made sure I came across as friendly and relaxed. I smiled, made eye contact, and said something like, "Yes, it was really straightforward, thank you. I actually walked past your building on Google Street View last night, just to be safe."
Ha! That's a nice touch. It shows you're prepared without being over the top about it.
Exactly. And then they got into the first big question, which was, "So James, tell us a bit about yourself."
The classic opener. Everyone knows it's coming, but it still catches people off guard, doesn't it?
It really does. And I think the reason it's tricky is because it's so open-ended. Where do you even start? Your whole life story, your education, what you had for breakfast?
Right. The key is to keep it professional and relevant. You're not writing your autobiography. I usually tell people to think of it as a 2-minute highlight reel. Who are you professionally? What have you done? And why are you here today?
That's a good way to put it. So what I said was something like, sure, I describe myself as someone who's really passionate about project management. I've been working in the field for about 6 years now, mainly in the tech sector. In my current role, I lead a team of 8, and we handle everything from product launches to process improvements. I really thrive in fast-paced environments where no 2 days are the same.
See, that's strong. You covered your experience, your current role, and what drives you, all in about 20 seconds, and you use some really natural phrases there. I'd describe myself as is a great opener because it sounds confident without being arrogant.
Thanks. I practiced that bit, to be honest. I didn't want to ramble.
And that's completely fine. Everyone should prepare their introduction. It's not about memorizing a script word for word. It's about having a clear structure so you don't go off on a tangent.
Absolutely. And then they followed up with, what would you say are your greatest strengths?
Another classic. How did you handle that one?
I went with something specific rather than generic. I think a lot of people say things like, I'm a hard worker or I'm a team player, which are fine, but they don't really stand out. So instead, I said, I'd say my biggest strength is bringing structure to chaos. When a project is falling behind or the team feels overwhelmed, I'm good at stepping back, breaking things down into manageable steps, and getting everyone back on track.
Oh, that's so much better than just saying, I'm organized. You painted a picture. The interviewer can actually imagine you doing that in their company.
That was the idea, and I backed it up with a quick example. I mentioned the project last year where we were 3 weeks behind schedule, and I restructured the workflow and we ended up delivering on time. Concrete examples make a huge difference.
They really do. There's actually a method called the STAR technique. Have you come across it?
Yeah, situation, task, action, result. It's really useful for structuring your answers.
Exactly. So the situation is the context, the task is what you needed to do, the action is what you actually did, and the result is the outcome. If you frame your examples that way, your answers sound polished and complete without being rehearsed.
That's pretty much what I did without even realizing it. The situation was the project was behind. The task was to get it back on track. The action was restructuring the workflow.
and the result was delivering on time.
Perfect. Now, did they ask about weaknesses? Everyone dreads that one.
They did, yeah. And I know the old trick of turning a weakness into a strength, like saying I'm a perfectionist, but I feel like interviewers see right through that these days.
Completely agree. It comes across as rehearsed and a bit dishonest, to be frank. What did you say instead?
I was honest. I said, I used to struggle with delegating tasks. I'd take on too much myself because I wanted to make sure everything was done to a high standard. But I've worked on that a lot over the past couple of years. I've learned to trust my team more and to focus on the bigger picture rather than trying to control every detail.
That's a really good answer because it's genuine. It shows self-awareness and, most importantly, it shows growth. You're not just admitting a flaw, you're showing that you've actively worked to improve it.
Thanks. I think the key is to pick something real, but not something that would be a deal breaker for the role. You wouldn't want to say, I'm terrible with deadlines if you're applying for a project management job.
Absolutely not. It's about being honest while still being strategic. Now, what about the salary question? Did that come up?
It did. Towards the end, they asked what my salary expectations were.
That one makes people so uncomfortable. How did you deal with it?
I did some research beforehand, so I had a range in mind. I said something like, based on my experience and the market rate for this type of role, I'd be looking at something in the range of $55,000 to $65,000. But I'm open to discussing the full package, including benefits and professional development opportunities.
Smart. You gave a range instead of a single number, which gives room for negotiation. And mentioning the full package shows you're thinking beyond just the salary.
Yeah, I didn't want to price myself out of it, but I also didn't want to undersell myself. It's a fine line.
It really is. And I think saying based on my research and the market rate is important because it shows you've done your homework. You're not just pulling a number out of thin air.
Exactly. And then right at the end, they asked if I had any questions for them.
Oh, that's crucial. You should always have questions prepared. It shows you're genuinely interested in the company, not just desperate for any job.
Right. I asked two things. First, I asked, what does a typical day look like in this role? Because I wanted to get a sense of the actual day-to-day work. And second, I asked, what are the biggest challenges the team is facing right now? Which I think showed that I'm already thinking about how I could contribute.
Those are both excellent questions, especially the second one. It's forward-thinking and shows initiative. Much better than asking about holiday allowance in the first interview.
Haha, yeah, I'm saving that for round 2.
So how are you feeling about it overall? Do you think you'll get it?
I'm cautiously optimistic. They said they'd get back to me within a week. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much. We'll see.
Well, it sounds like you absolutely nailed it. Fingers crossed for you.
Thanks, Emma. I appreciate that.
Das war Folge 1 von Sicher Englisch. Hier sind die wichtigsten Ausdrücke aus dieser Folge. I'd describe myself as. Ich würde mich beschreiben als. I thrive in fast-paced environments. Ich blühe in schnellen Arbeitsumgebungen auf. I'm passionate about. Ich brenne für. My biggest strength is. Meine größte Stärke ist. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Ich drücke die Daumen. Wenn dir diese Folge gefallen hat, abonniere Sicher Englisch und hör morgen rein. Dann gibt es Nachrichten auf Englisch. Bis dann.